Good afternoon. We've been richly blessed today. Just a great thank you to all our speakers once again. I think thank you so much. What a range of ideas we've experienced and perspectives, and I think also kind of a range of emotions, from Dr. Murthy with his emotional and moral leadership encouragement to being mildly scolded by a general for being in academia and having peer-reviewed journals not producing the kind of productivity that they need to. But I'm just joking. Thank you so much. I'm going to mention 3 dates, make a point, and then close. January the 19th, 2012, after 131 years of business, Eastman Kodak filed Chapter 11 bankruptcy. The analysts would say it was because they saw themselves as being in the film and the camera business, but instead they were really in the imaging business, and they missed or denied the whole digital opportunity. In July 1960, the then editor of the Harvard Business Review, Theodore Levitt, wrote a very famous article about the decline in the railroad industry at the time that he ascribed to what he called marketing myopia, which was that they weren't really in the railroad business, but they were actually in the transportation business, and had they seen it that way, they may have been a more vibrant industry. And he urged business not to define themselves by what they produce, but by what consumers want. So here we are, March 2018. Doctors and hospitals are focusing on producing health care. But what consumers really want is health. Health care is just a means to an end, and as we've heard today, an increasingly expensive one. There are many other ways to get to better health at lower cost. And as we heard today, social determinants and well-being culture is as important as biological processes. So healthcare is clearly very important. As we've heard also today, it's about 18%, 17.9% of the GDP of this nation, which means it's about a $3.3 trillion industry. To put that in perspective, the GDP of the United Kingdom is $2.5 trillion. The GDP of Germany is $3.4 trillion. So what we spend on healthcare is the same as the whole German economy. So I'm thrilled that Pepperdine Graziadio Business School was able today to tee up a conversation, to stimulate debate, to encourage perspectives to be shared on healthcare. Our vision as a business school is to produce best for the world leaders. Lots of business schools will talk about we want to be the best in the world at this or the best in the world at that, and of course we want some of that too, but we've given it a little twist and said we want to produce best for the world leaders, leaders who understand the contribution and impact of business on industry, society, and community, and conduct their business in responsible and ethical manners. The moral leadership that Dr. Murthy was talking about earlier on. So I'd encourage you to think about participating potentially in a new program that we're going to be launching in the fall of this year for experienced senior executives like yourself to get yourself a new degree, which is the new frontier of executive education, called a DBA. So I'll just do a little bit of advertising. Some leaflets were put out there. A Doctor of Business Administration. You could take these subjects that we've been talking about, industry problems, challenging business issues, and make that the subject of your doctoral dissertation. Surround yourself with some really smart people and benefit from the literature and the theory that's already been written on related themes, and do a doctoral dissertation on a healthcare issue, strategic alliances in healthcare, for example, or whatever the theme is. So once again, thank you. We've got a lot of folk who've worked really hard to make this day a success. I want to ask that as you go out and file past my staff, that you take a special effort to thank them. They've been really busy lately. We had a big faculty conference just last week, over 100 faculty members. We've got the healthcare symposium. Next week we have an award ceremony, and then we have a commencement ceremony the following week. So they've done a superb job. They would greatly appreciate just a personal word of thanks to them. Thank you also to our donors. This would not be possible without you. To the Graziadio family and our industry partners for being so generous in helping organize this, to my board for arranging the speakers. I deeply, deeply appreciate that. It's our 50th year as a business school coming up this fall, so watch this space. There'll be a lot of very exciting events, including a signature event at the Staples Center in October. So keep tuned into the Pepperdine Graziadio website for more information on that. But for now, let me close by just mentioning the next date for our healthcare symposium will be March the 21st of 2019. It'll be our 5th successive symposium, and I hope to see you there in 2019. Thank you so much for your attention and for the wonderful panel of speakers. Let's give them another round of applause. Thank you.